I remember is Choopan is a medium sort of guy. He used to compete in the 212 and he jumped into the open. And the open is a big man's sport. It is what it is. They made that choice a long time ago. The guy will never be big.
Again, he's too small and thin compared to the top two. Conditioning alone cannot prevail if you're getting dwarfed, especially in the open division.
He brought it. He brought a really good package. I mean, he was just, again, overall too small. He's a 212 guy. And it's really hard, for the judges to let the smaller guys beat the freaking giants like Big Ram. Yes, more conditioned, but smaller. Size definitely matters in bodybuilding.
Granted, he looked smaller this year. I think he looked a little bit downsized from last year. I think he was in better shape than both Ramy and Brandon. But certainly Ramy was bigger, and I think even Brandon looked bigger than Hadi in this lineup, and I think that's probably why Hadi wound up in third. But I do think all credit needs to go to Hadi from a conditioning standpoint. I think he was really the most conditioned guy in the show. Hadi really impressed the
Hello Superset Maniacs and welcome back to my channel. So basically Hadi Choopan took only third place at this year's Olympia because he was the smaller guy out of that top 3. And it seems like people pretty much agree with that, you all heard it. Well, I don't buy it, don't get me wrong. I will never dare to claim I know this industry better than Louis Marco, Tominator, Ivan from Ivan Bodybuilding or Nick Straight and Power. I just feel like this is a lame excuse that Hadi did not place higher than third at this year's Olympia because he is smaller than Ramy and Brandon. In this video I will express my opinion on the topic, which is that Hadi Choopan got robbed at this year's Olympia, and I'll also explain the reasoning behind this claim in the following minutes. First, let's go back to the Arnold Classic 2020 for a minute. Your top 3 was William Bonac, Dexter Jackson and Big Ramy in this specific order. Ramy allegedly got only third because he was in a worse conditioning than both Bonac and Dexter, 2 way smaller guys than him. While Ramy was not in his best shape conditioning wise, he wasn't all that bad either, and I thought this is men's open where size matters. How come both Bonac and Dexter edged him at this show? Okay, if you guys are not convinced that Hadi taking third because he's smaller is total BS, just look at this past weekend Legion Sports Fest, where Sean Clarida beat Regan Grimes and Sergio Oliva, and not only them, he was looking literally like a boy amongst men on that stage. He won the open division with the main argument being the conditioning. So are we still gonna argue that Hadi did not place higher than third at the Olympia because he was smaller? You better not. That brings me to the second part of this video, where we actually are going to compare Ramy, Brandon and Hadi at the 2021 Olympia and see what happens. We're gonna look through all the 8 mandatory poses as well as through the quarter turns. So without further ado, let's get to the comparison. Of course, bodybuilding is subjective and this will be only my opinion, nothing more than that. That being said, for me Hadi is the clear winner in this front relaxed pose. He looks the most diced, the most balanced, he's got superior separation through the abs and quads. He simply looks way better than Ramy upper body and way better than Brandon lower body. As far as second place, I think I would go with Brandon here. Ramy looks odd here. In this side relaxed, Hadi falls down to third in spite of that serrated chest. His arms and shoulders as well as the execution led him down. I believe Ramy misses the execution as well, and overall I like Brandon the most here. In the back relaxed, Ramy is the last. His back is letting him down big time, especially in the lower region. Between Brandon and Hadi, Hadi dominates both upper body and lower body here, so he gets the point. For the other side relaxed, we have the same story, Brandon, Ramy, Hadi in this order, even though those obliques of Hadi might have some people doubt this ranking. So coming out from the Symmetry round, Ramy is last, Brandon won the side relaxed poses and Hadi won the front and the back relaxed. But let's get to the mandatory poses now. Front double biceps. Yes, Hadi has the least impressive guns overall. He's got those short muscle insertions through the bis and tris and also weak forearms. However, he definitely has the best taper and the best lower body. If you prefer quantity over quality, you could go with Ramy on the lower body, but for me it's the other way around. Hadi has the best conditioning and presents the best details. Upper body overall, Brandon is the most dominant. He's got the roundest muscle bellies and the smallest waist, but he looks the softest and his lower body just doesn't measure up to the other two guys. Ramy is the biggest and somewhat the most balanced. For the mandatory poses, I will also use this album with the top 4 call out, and for a better analysis we're gonna crop out Hunter and focus only on the top 3. This pose can really go either way, but for the sake of this video and show you that I'm not biased, I will put Ramy in first, Brandon in second and Hadi in last. Hadi is still gonna come on top by the end of this comparison, just stick around. Front lat spread, and as good as Brandon may have looked in the past in this pose, he falls to last place now. Aside from the weak lower body, his lats don't look as good anymore and that midsection looks out of control. Nobody seems to mention this aspect. Brandon lost the control of his stomach more than once during this 2021 Mr. Olympia. Between Ramy and Hadi now, if this picture doesn't convince you, I bet this other one makes it clear that Hadi dominates all the aspects in this pose. He is the widest in proportion to the rest of his body, his lats flare out the most, his midsection is ripped, and again, he wins the lower body and the conditioning. Hadi wins this pose. In the side chest, Hadi is last. If it wasn't clear already, I'm not just a Hadi fanboy who believes Hadi wins any pose against anybody. I just call things as I see them. Hadi's arms and shoulders are no match to these other two guys. He doesn't dominate the lower body anymore from the side, and in spite of his good chest and the conditioning, he is getting last place. Between Brandon and Ramy it's tough. Brandon becomes very competitive from the side and his lower body looks quite good. And upper body he dominates again with the roundness of his arms and shoulders. Overall though, I still believe Ramy is superior. He dominates the chest and big time the lower body. He himself has decent arms and shoulders, so for me, Ramy first and Brandon second in the side chest pose. Back double biceps, and this is a telling story. Not just too much time ago, this was Hadi's weakest pose, but now he dominates both Ramy and Brandon in it. In this specific album, he's getting out-angled, but here, it becomes more than obvious. Ramy is third, his back double is hurt badly by the lack of low lat thickness. Brandon's upper body looks strong, but he is no match to Hadi's lower body, especially if you look at the hamstrings. Hadi also presents the better cuts and separation through his back overall and of course, the better conditioning. So this is another point for Hadi Choopan. Rear lat spread, and we have the same story between Brandon and Hadi, but this time with Ramy back in the mix. His back lat spread looks great mainly because of the size of his back. Size does matter sometimes, but only to an extent. I still believe Hadi looks better, his traps look top notch from top to bottom, his lats are the widest and he also looks great downstairs, as we already have established. This other pic shows the same thing. It's true upper body both Brandon and Ramy are bigger, but Hadi's details, thickness and dryness seal the deal for him here. Hadi Choopan comes on top from both back poses. Side triceps, and this is Brandon Curry for me. He looks really good from the side as we've seen in the side relaxed poses and the side chest so far. In the side triceps here his thick lateral head comes into play as well. Between Ramy and Hadi, it's tough. Ramy dominates big time downstairs and he could have the upper hand on this aspect alone if you want. However, Hadi's superior triceps development and way better detailed midsection give him a good argument here as well. Personally, I believe Ramy's side triceps pose is ruined by his bad triceps and I would put Hadi above. But I could understand the argument for Ramy having the upper hand as well. The abs and thighs is obviously Hadi Choopan. He's got the best detailed abs by far as well as the best detailed quads. The quality of his muscles sets him apart here. Big Ramy is second and Brandon only last. He's got washed out abs and the weakest thighs, in spite of his great taper. If it wasn't obvious already, Hadi can also do this, which I believe it's more than enough for him to win this pose in this comparison. The most muscular is another weak pose for Hadi Choopan for the exact same reasons, the size and shape of his arms and shoulders. This pose right here is between Brandon and Ramy. This is a classic case of choosing between apples and oranges. Ramy is bigger and dominates downstairs and the chest. Brandon dominates with arms and delts and also presents decent chest striations. I'm actually going with Brandon in first and Ramy in second in this pose. What do you guys think? So, we had the symmetry round where Hadi won the front relaxed and the back relaxed, while Brandon won from the side. I'm not sure how this should be counted, the side relaxed as 2 points or not. It's basically the same pose, but anyway, let's have it like this. Brandon and Hadi both with 2 points out of the symmetry round. During the mandatories, Hadi has won 4 out of 8 poses, namely the front lat spread, both back poses, the back double and the back lat spread, and the abs and thighs. Ramy won 2 poses, the front double and the side chest, while Brandon as well has won 2 poses, the side triceps and the most muscular. So judging by the number of poses each one have won, Hadi has 6, Brandon has 4 and Ramy only 2. But we all know this is not the way bodybuilding shows are judged. It's mainly about the judge's overall impression. But trying to measure up this somehow, let's try something else. We had a first, second and third place in each pose. So adding up the numbers, the results looks like this. Brandon wins this symmetry round with 6 points. Remember guys, the fewer points the better, as we calculated this number by adding up the placing they got in each pose. So first place got 1 point, second 2 and third 3 points. Fewer points the better. Hadi wins the comparison round with 15 points. If we add up all these numbers for the symmetry round and the comparison round, we get Brandon and Hadi tied for first with 23 and Ramy in third with 26 points. So it looks like anything we try to do, somehow Hadi Choopan winds up in first place. He won the most poses, 4 mandatories and 2 from the symmetry round. He won on points the comparison round. He is tied for first with Brandon if we add the symmetry round points to the comparison round points. There's even an argument for him to win the symmetry round as well overall, as he's won the front relaxed and the back relaxed, and Brandon the side relaxed ones, which we counted as 2 separate poses. Hadi was also the most conditioned guy on stage by far. He did not have any midsection problems, moreover he even hit a vacuum. As we've seen in the beginning of the video, the size argument does not look that valid when you look in the past at shows like the 2020 Arnold or the recent Legion Sports Fest, where the most conditioned guy was rewarded in spite of being clearly smaller. So dear IFBB, why? Why did Hadi Choopan got only third place? He should at least have gotten second if not first. Anyway guys, this is just my opinion, but make sure you let me know in the comment section below your opinion. Like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you guys and see you next time.